Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And once again, joining us from Beijing, our roving reporter, we got Ron.
What's happening?
Our Beijing Super League reporter, or Chinese Super League reporter. I love the pictures you got from the match that you were able to attend.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh yeah, that was quite the match. Even though we lost, Beijing Guan, who is our local team here, kind of channeled a bit of their a bit of Orlando City. They had a kind of a lazy day. And, that one where there's no urgency, half the passes miss, and there's like 2 credible shots on goal the whole game.
That sounds like an Orlando City match. Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
But the good news is I got to watch Shanghai SIPC Football Club, which is one of our rivals. And I got to watch Oscar play. You guys remember Oscar?
Yeah, from Chelsea, right?
Yep.
Or formerly.
Yeah, so I got to watch him play. That was a delight. And then I also got to, do you guys remember Hulk, the Brazilian player?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He is easily China's Neymar.
Yeah.
A lot of rolling.
I mean, that guy was falling all over the place. He played more with his arms than his hands, than his feet that entire game.
Which is hysterical because he's the Hulk.
Like he's a big guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he spent so much time on the turf. And he got carded for diving. Yeah, that was pretty entertaining. And there's some fun things about going to the stadiums here. The culture is you bought a ticket. And if you get there before the game and someone is sitting in your seat, you can politely ask them to move and they'll shuffle down one. And, you sit in your seat and watch the game. If, however, you do not get there before the first whistle, your seats are then fair game. So a family shows up with their tickets and they get run off because they weren't here before the start of the match. And so the guy goes up to security and he's like, hey, that guy's in my seat. And they're like, too bad you weren't here on time.
Amazing.
Yeah. Punctuality.
Teach you to be there on time. Like if you're going to the movies or a concert or whatever,
right.
Like, sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting, but we had better seats this time than we did the last time. This time we were in the upper bowls, so you could really see play develop, and it was a fun time. I was at the 8x8 beer festival before that, and I did a pretty good job throwing all that up on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, that was a ton of beers.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that beer festival was super cool. It was 8 breweries from the northeastern United States and from around China.
How many from around China? You kind of went out a little bit there.
Sorry, 8. 8 and 8.
Cool.
And then there was one brewery from Canada, which is pretty funny. They were the only Canadians there, but they had
8x8x1.
8x7x1. But they had 2 great beers, and the names of them were great. One was Ransack the Universe, and then the other one was T-Rex Push-Ups, which I thought was pretty great.
That's awesome. Inverted push-ups, if you would.
Yeah. So, that was a great time. 8x8 beer festival was there for about 3 or 4 hours, just trying all kinds of really tasty beers. There was a really good, coffee stout that I had from, Nanmen Brewing, which is, here in China. And then we went and did the soccer match, which was also fun. And then yesterday was Oktoberfest at the Polliner Brew House here in Beijing. And that was insane.
Yeah, dude, your pictures from that, I was so thirsty. Like, I was just seeing all those
hungry,
like, big, liters of Polliner. I was like, oh my God, that looks so good. So literally, and we talked about going to the Cookie Can Oktoberfest, but it was like the first good day off in a while, and I was just tired, so I just went to the store, picked up a pack of brats and
Called it a day.
and some Oktoberfest beer. And I was like, fun. If Ron's going to be dressed in lederhosen and all this awesome beer, I'm just going to do a stupid one at home.
Oh man, it was so fun. There weren't that many of us there. There were, I don't know, 25-ish or so.
You made up for it in your awesome lederhosen.
It was a snazzy find. We ordered those costumes on the Chinese version of Amazon called Taobao. And it's a little bit suspect. Every time you order something, you're not quite sure you're going to get exactly what you wanted. And the quality of the costumes was great. It was way better than we expected. So, yeah, I got out there with some lederhosen and we had a pretty good time. Just, kind of hanging out. And the head chef, and I guess the hospitality manager came out, and then they started drinking with us. And then we started playing German Olympic drinking games. Yes. And it was absolutely incredible. We had such a good time. The food was ridiculous. I think I shared a picture of the food all lined up in front of the band, and that was absolutely insane.
I just went through to go make sure, I was like, oh yeah, Ron sent all those pictures. I'm going to download those. I had not seen Ferris's picture that he had sent us yet of the damn Lime bike with the Pacifico 12 pack in it.
That's what I was doing yesterday.
That's awesome.
I don't know why it hadn't shown up yet, but it just showed up as I was like, oh yeah, I got to make sure I get Ron's doofy lederhosen pics. They're so funny. And I wanted to look at some of the pretzels and beer, like as you were explaining. Then I'm like, what is this Pacifico on a Lime bike?
Where were you, in Winter Garden?
No, we had gone down to because I was supposed to have a soccer game at 9 a.m. That got canceled due to all the rain Saturday and Saturday night. So we ended up going down to the Celt to watch the Liverpool and United match. And it was a good time. Some friends of the pod were down there. Tony Sounds Good, Jared, Ross, Joel. I mean, everybody kind of down there. So we watched the match.
Way too many Liverpool fans.
A lot of Liverpool fans. Thankfully, Joel is a United fan, so I had somebody else there. But then afterwards, we were going to a barbecue with some friends, and we needed to pick up some stuff for that. So the Publix that is down across from Akiola, we walked there, picked up what we had to, put it in a Lime bike, and drove back to the car.
Nice.
Now, Ron, looking back at your pictures, what kind of beers from Polliner do they have? Like to have there? Was it just their Oktoberfest, or what were they having?
They were only serving the lager and the Marzen. So,
awesome. Cool.
You didn't really have much choice, which was fine. Those are the two best ones to have. The lager is much lighter than the Marzen, so started off with that, and then I think I only had one Marzen, and that was my last one. But I did about little over 4 liters while I was there.
I love that Polliner lager. I could drink that all night, all day long.
And he's good.
It's just so easy to drink and goes great with some chicken schnitzel. I mean,
chicken schnitzel.
Damn.
Chicken schnitzel. Well, I cooked some brats yesterday, but I did a recipe where you're supposed to cook them with Marzen. And the only Oktoberfest that was at the grocery store when I was there was Sam Adams. I forgot how much I like the Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
It's a good one.
It's like a good standard Marzen style. And I just hadn't had it in a while because there's so many options available. It's really, really good.
Quite delightful.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, the deal is just sear the brats on either side for those listening. And then you take a cup of a Marzen, pour it over it with onions chopped up, and just let that thing simmer down. And it makes kind of this brown, kind of like dark brown, almost Guinness colored sauce that it cooks in with the onions. Oh, it's so good.
Nice. Yeah, pretty much all the food had beer in it. There were all these different recipes, and everything was like, Hefeweizen au gratin potatoes, and then they were twice baked. Oh, God, those were so good. Yeah, I think I gained about 90 pounds eating at the German restaurant yesterday.
Yeah, forget Thanksgiving meal. Oktoberfest will totally do that to you. Hey, but speaking of having beer in it, we don't have it in us. That was my attempt at a segue to get to the beer.
That's a segue that you fell off of.
Just a few bumps along the path. And we're gonna do another cross-continental or intercontinental beer tasting where we have a beer that Ron also has in China at the same time right now.
Yep. So the last time I was over there, I got some beers from one of my favorite Canadian brewing companies, Four Fathers. We've had them on the pod before. We did one of their scratch series. And I thought it was appropriate to do it today because it's the Canadian election day.
Oh, that's right. Will Trudeau still stick around or not? Okay, so this is the one that like their labels are generic, for lack of a better term, in the sense that they write the scratch series label on it, right?
Yep. So scratch series, it's the this series that they do where essentially they're trying out different recipes and seeing which ones people like. They don't specifically name it because they don't want to market them yet. So they just call them, like this one is Scratch Series 4, recipe number 12. It's an IPA with Galaxy, Azacca, Citra, and Wakatu hops.
Ooh, this is I know.
Yeah. 7% ABV. And it was brewed on August 16th of 2019. One of these IPAs they make are second to none in my opinion. And this one should be no different. And like I said, we have had these guys on before, but just to give you a quick recap, fourfathersbrewing.ca. If you just type in Four Fathers Brewing, the one from a brewery from Valparaiso, Indiana pops up. So make sure you're finding the Canadian one. And this is 4 hockey dads and 4 hockey sons who, started a brewery together. And they're the tenets of their brewing company are do something good, community and family first, and brewing with expression. So go check out their website. Super cool.
And this is, so when it's series 4, is that always an IPA?
So I sent those guys an email, I want to say 2 days ago, to ask them about how they name it, but I just haven't heard back yet. So when I find out, I'll update you. I'm just curious how they, what differentiates Scratch 4 from 5 or anything like that.
I'm excited to try this though. That's a cool hop variety or hop mixture.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I expect this one to be pretty normal color for an IPA. I expect that it's going to not be filtered, so it's going to be nice and cloudy, and it's going to be quite a balanced hop profile. Shall we?
I think it'd be rude if we didn't.
Agreed.
All right, here we go. Oh man, smell that. It smells like when you brew at home.
That smells fantastic.
The hops are so, I haven't even poured it yet, but they're so pungent.
Ooh, that smells good. I'm actually going to pour mine into a glass too.
Go ahead and pour that in your Man United glass. You've earned it.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Well, this thing pours very straw yellow. Actually, it's a little more
more like
yellow than I anticipated it to be.
It's pretty carbonated.
Yeah, it is.
And our favorite, it's got good head retention.
Oh, it's got excellent head retention.
Head retention is looking real nice over there.
It's making the old Brewtiful Game Pilsner glass.
Yeah, Blake,
look
let me
pretty,
see if I can get
pretty awesome.
Get a Ron style.
Yeah, see if we can get a Ron style photo of this bad boy. You know, we'll take a picture and then Ron will send us his pictures and we'll go, God, man,
with
why is it so good?
Right, with like a Chinese temple behind it or something. That's.
How did you know? I'm recording live from the Temple of Heaven.
Exactly.
Oh, man. See, I'm even trying to set up a prop and it's not working.
I told you that damn thing rolls. I don't know how he does it.
Your little Brewtiful Game circle that you would always put up, every time we try to do it, it just rolls like Indiana Jones's friggin' boulder across the table.
There it goes. But you know what? I got Blake's shirt that his wife got all of us in the background.
Oh, yeah. Life is Brewtiful.
Yep.
Life is Brewtiful.
All right.
Nice.
Enough of this picture nonsense. Let's have a beer.
All right, guys. Here we go. Cheers.
Hey,
I'll even give you a skull for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I like it.
Holy God, dude.
Smell.
It's like eating fresh hops. Whoa. You know, it's nuts. This thing smells so hoppy. I thought this was going to be
punching the nuts.
Well, yeah, like when you have like the Stone IPA that's but this is not, man. This is smooths out.
It's a real kick at first because it's just a lot of hops, tasteful hops.
But this is kind of juicy, like a New England IPA.
Yeah,
is what it makes me think of.
It's so good.
Well, I just had my coffee for breakfast, so this is like the orange juice. This is great. A lot of citrus flavor coming off of those hops. Man, that's tasty.
Man, that is tasty.
Nice and cloudy. Looks like an orange juice now that it's started to cloud up.
Oh, such a good beer.
They
did not disappoint.
Unlike my OJ, I do not like my beer with high pulp.
I do not.
They make some good ass beer at that brewery.
Yeah, that's the one that did the beer named after the hockey player, right?
No,
yeah,
Shevchenko.
Right? Didn't they make that?
Right, but he's not a hockey player.
He made it off of the right.
He's played for AC Milan and
he was Canadian. My brain immediately thought that it was a
right. We went to I was like, what? Why did?
Well, speaking of Chelsea, I know that's our match week 9. It's complete except for it's Monday morning, so we still yet have Arsenal and Sheffield United to play.
I'm looking forward to that game this afternoon.
Should be a good game. Sheffield's been good.
Mm-hmm. Billy fucking Sharp.
That's right. There it is.
In the net for you.
You hadn't said his name in a while.
Yeah, well, he had been suspended for a few games due to a red card. No surprise there.
He's back.
He'll probably start off on the bench and come in as a sub, but when he scores that 93rd minute off of the inner thigh kneecap goal,
that'll be the equalizer that breaks the heart.
Exactly.
It won't be the winning goal. It'll be the equalizer that feels worse. We'll talk about one of those later. Speaking of,
yes.
So first up, Chelsea Newcastle. Chelsea. Well, let's just go ahead and say it, right? Do you have the table on here? They've already snuck to third.
Yeah, I don't have the table on here yet. I usually wait to do the table until like match week 10 just because it tends to...
they're 4, aren't they? They Man City took third, pushed Chelsea down to 4th.
Oh, because of Leicester. That's right. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's been an interesting little run. So yeah, that's right. It's Leicester at 3rd, Chelsea at 4th. But Chelsea, man, still... I mean... Right now, the Frank Lampard experiment is looking really good, considering, again, as we all know, they couldn't sign in new players. They lost players. And they're, some of the people they've called back in from loan and stuff, and he's doing really good with this club.
Yeah, I agree. Although I credit a large portion of this win to Christian Pulisic.
Yes.
For coming on at, I don't know, like the 70 or something minute. And breathing some life into a team who was just kind of fallen flat.
Yeah, and he was why he did not score the goal or get the assist on the goal. He had a lovely little run up like the not all the way out there on the wing, but about even with the edge of the box, and his run caused Newcastle to kind of get out of shape a bit. And then the ball got played around and then finally back over to the lovely locks of Marcus Alonso, who just absolutely just pelted it home.
Just crushed it.
So, yeah, it was nice to see Christian P get in there and do what we know that he's been able to do before. But just, Lampard hasn't really played him much yet. And I think, I don't think you can complain about that in the sense that Chelsea has done very well. So I thought, it's going to be hard for Pulisic to actually get some play time here, but it was nice to see him get in and make the most of it. Make an argument to have him on that lineup.
And he also came really close to bagging his first goal. It was a lovely save by Dubravka, but they were kind of in tight, and Pulisic had to turn his body in a way, and he connected well with the ball, but Dubravka came up big and kind of robbed Pulisic of his first goal for the Blues.
Yeah, it was. I think the time off actually helped him become hungry. That's kind of what it seems like, because he started quite a few games for Chelsea in the very beginning. And when he wasn't producing that much and Mount was, they just switched him out. So I think he was really hungry on this game, and boy, he came out firing. So good to see that even though we are struggling for a bit of identity, we are still trying to figure out.
I think you're gaining it.
Yeah, we are definitely slowly figuring it out, which is good to see. And I'll be honest, I was nervous. I thought we were going to draw or lose the Newcastle match, but we came back. Thanks, Christian P.
What Frank Lampard's doing is slowly making an embarrassment of clubs like Man U and Arsenal, who have started a rebuild within a couple of years ago and should be doing better than Chelsea, considering the duress of Chelsea's bans. Like,
yeah,
that's one thing that hasn't really been talked about, but Chelsea doing really well is it makes some of these other clubs that had the freedom to go make all these choices and moves and stuff look a little silly.
Chelsea's team would not look the same, though, I don't think, if the ban wasn't on them.
No,
they've had a lot of people out on loan, names like Mohamed Salah, De Bruyne, Lukaku, that they didn't use at the club, that went out on loan, and then sold. So their hand was kind of forced here with this, and Frankie is making the best out of it. And so far, it's good. This is now their third in a row in the league, and the future looks brighter than United, than Arsenal, than some of the Tottenham, than some of the teams right now, just based on if this young talent and this core of young talent that we have talked about before on the pod, if this young talent continues on the way that they're going, then Chelsea may have something for the long run here.
I think it changes what they were going to look at as far as when they're back into the transfer window. I think it's a very different thought than what they might have had, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And I think you're right. In some ways, this transfer ban has actually kind of helped them kind of rely on all these young players and start bringing them up. So now if they can mix in a couple of vets that will stick around for a bit, I think they'll have a great team. I do think, though, that Giroud is going to be out of there the first opportunity he gets.
The star of NYCFC, Olivier Giroud. I don't think he'll go to LA. He'll probably go to New York.
Hey,
and let's be honest,
we could use him here.
There's a better fashion district in New York, so it makes sense. Man's gotta look
Orlando.
Good.
We have a lot of outlet malls. There's a lot of things he can do here.
Maybe he'll go
Disney World.
Maybe he'll go to Beckham's Atlanta.
He's gonna go where he can get the best hair product and beard oil.
Well, he could go to Miami and have Posh Spice, dressing him and Beckham.
This is true.
Beckham looks way better post marrying Posh Spice than prior. You can just tell.
Post Spice?
Yeah, she was like, no, honey, go out wearing this, please. She's got him covered. And let's be honest, if Posh Spice told you how to dress, you would say yes. She knows what's up. You don't just get the name Posh. You got to earn it.
Do you now? And how would you know that over here?
Look, I don't want to give away the secret about our new podcast coming to Spice It Up about all the Spice Girls, but it's coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Spice It Up. What a ridiculous name.
It's a series where we brew 4 different beers. How many Spice Girls were there? Based around the Spice Girls personas.
There was
the posh Spice. That's sporty. That's a brute IPA. Sporty. That's like it's just a lager, man. It's just straight up like just slugging a lager.
Yeah, and then how many of them other
Baby Spice?
Baby Spice.
Scary Spice.
There wasn't a Scary Spice, was there?
Isn't there?
No. Hold on.
What? Yes.
This is warrant of a nice good Google search here.
Yeah, right. This Baby Spice, right Scary Spice,
was there?
Sporty Spice, Posh Spice.
I think you're right.
I cannot believe we're going on a
What
Spice.
about Ginger? Don't forget about Ginger.
Oh, Ginger. I don't think it was scary. I think it was Ginger.
No, they're scary.
Like they were scary, but I don't think it was.
They're scary.
Ferris, there was a scary. Come on.
There was a scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was there really?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want.
Girl power.
That's the name of the brewery. Tell you what I want.
How can I find?
And one of the beers is called Zigga Zigga Zoom.
Zigga Zig Ah.
Zigga,
Okay.
Zigga, ah.
Yes, there was. Okay, confirmation. Here we go. Victoria Beckham is, of course, Posh Spice. Melania Brown is Scary Spice. She had the voluptuous afro hair there. Voluminous, sorry. Emma Booten, Baby Spice.
Right.
Yep.
Another Melanie Chisholm, however you say that, Sporty Spice, also known as Mel C. Little insider
Mel B,
info.
right?
Who?
It's like Christian P, but Mel C.
Correct. She usually wore a tracksuit paired with athletic shoes.
That's right. She was like a Russian mobster.
Yes, she did.
Yep.
And then Jerry Hallwell, Ginger Spice. I don't know if I said any of these names right besides Victoria Beckham.
I just love that we had a Spice Girl segue.
All right. Posh had, what was this? Each decorated with individual trademark emblems. Posh had sparkling black. Sporty had racing stripes. Scary had leopard print. Baby had pink. And Ginger had the Union Jack flag.
And don't forget, they're about to go on a tour again, I think.
Are they?
Again, that's so great.
Yeah, coming to a stadium in Tampa near you. We can go see the Spice Girls.
Would you call them R&B? I don't know if I would.
I don't know what you'd call them.
Dance pop R&B is how it is classified via wikipedia.org.
Dance pop makes
Mel
sense.
B, Emma Burton, Mel C, Jerry, Victoria.
It is a wiki, so it doesn't necessarily mean the content was added by the correct person.
Yeah, it's not exactly accurate. You build that thing like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's not necessarily totally accurate.
Don't
oh my
panic,
God, that just made me.
that
just made me so happy. What a weird tangent.
Oh, that's right. They had cabs that carried the Spice Girls for the closing ceremony of the 2012 London Olympics. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got the Spice Girls. No Doctor Who. We did get the Spice Girls.
This is true. Oh, good times.
He went back in time and took himself out of it.
Yeah, be looking out for Spice It Up from the Brewtiful Game.
Gross.
Damn it.
It's coming, guys. It's coming. All right. So next up, this brings us to Everton and West Ham. And this was a game that I just figured West Ham would win 3-0. If I was to be honest, that is not what happened. Everton won 2-0. So guys, Everton, every now and then, once every 8 games, they can play.
Yeah, they go from 18th to 14th with that win.
A much needed win because Silva was looking like he might be on the chopping block here soon.
Do you think this just postponed it by a few weeks or that he's safe for a bit?
No, he's got to start doing a lot more to get
he
safe for a bit. Everton Football Club was in relegation for most of the past couple of weeks. So he needs to do a lot more to get himself out of the off the skillet.
Off the skillet. That's another podcast coming on how to cook your sausage from the Brewtiful Game. Off the skillet, man.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I mean, come on, it's a good.
Just gonna leave that there.
That's our new segment. That's that'd be a great name for a segment. What coaches got saved this week? Coming to you now on to Off the Skillet. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, and it's true though. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it other than this game was, the morale for the club and for the fans. But yeah, he just got himself, let's say a 2-week reprieve. If he loses the next one, he probably wouldn't do anything. But if he lost the one after that, terribly in a row. So he's got to do something.
And each goal in this were very, very good goals. Bernard's goal that opened it up was a lovely bit of just footwork in the box to finally just nail it home. And then very late in the 92nd minute and stoppage time, the rarely heard from nowadays, Gylfi Sigurdsson, just absolute strike from outside the box and
you think
sealed all 3 points for the Toffees.
Do you think Gylfi isn't having doesn't fit well in the Premier League, or just if he was somewhere else, he'd be doing better?
I don't know. I haven't really watched a whole lot of Everton games to really. What I think it is, and again, I have not watched a whole lot of games, is they lost a very big piece of their midfield last year in Azacca Gay.
Yeah. And
without that kind of cushion behind Gylfi, I'm taking a stab that he's having to work a little bit more in midfield rather than play that number 10 attacking role to where he can get onto the ball and get a shot out. That would be my guess. So he's probably playing more of a true box-to-box midfielder opposed to a number 10.
Yeah, also their defense is in complete disarray. Their 2 center backs are just constantly out of position, and also they have very little support, like you're saying. So I think their defense has been failing them more than their offense has.
Yeah, I'd go with that. I mean, they just have lacked any identity. They've lacked any cohesion. Again, I mean, you could make the argument that they beat West Ham, and if they fired their coach tomorrow, that'd still be fine,
right?
Because it certainly doesn't seem like he's done much to pull it together.
Well, Everton's schedule coming up is Brighton, Hove and Albion, Watford, Tottenham, Southampton, Norwich, and Leicester. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games are easy, in my opinion, are winnable games for them. Tottenham, Leicester, but
Tottenham's winnable. What are you kidding? They could barely hang with Watford. We'll get to that, but that's winnable.
But
yeah,
they have a run that they could go on to pull themselves up into inside the top 10 on their next 6 matches. So this is a good time for them to do it. But conversely, if they come out of this and they, get 6 or 8 points out of the next 6 games, Silva gone.
Yeah. Well, now speaking of the runs, that brings us to the next 2 clubs, Aston Villa and Brighton Hove.
Because you just had coffee? Is that like what?
Aston Villa wins at home 2-1 over Brighton Hove. That was so Matt would get mad at me for making an Aston Villa joke. Which this actually does move Aston Villa. I forget where they were prior, but they were up to 11th now. With this win. And that's again because the bottom half and the top half of the table, minus our top 2 teams and our bottom 2 teams, are pretty close. When it comes to where we're sitting here after match week 8. But so a good win for Aston Villa. They need it. Aston Villa looking like, because of who's below them, if they can squeak by this season, get some more money and sign some people, they'll be in the Premier League again for a few years, I think.
I think they're going to have quite the battle for 10, 11, and 12. I think they're going to stay in that range a bit because those teams, Bournemouth, West Ham, Wolves, are all really tough teams and are not pushovers.
And Man U, don't forget Man U.
Well, Man U's a pushover. They're in 13th.
You're not wrong.
They just got lucky on that gigantic goal from Marcus Rashford.
Give me a break. Get out of it. Hold on. Let's talk about the other teams first, and we'll get to that game. Hold on. In terms of the Villa here, they are set up. I think
to wind them up.
It's not hard. In terms of the Villa, I think they are set up better this time around in the Premier League than they were last time, and I think Grealish being a little bit older and having more experience in play, whether it was in the Premier League the first time, Championship last year, in the past few years, or just he's just more of a talisman for them than anything. That they are set up a little bit better. They are going to be down there and they are going to fight to stay up, but that's fine. And their end goal when they probably started the season was to stay up. And this win, despite going down really early, and yes, a red card helped, they came back in the second half and came out firing. And the first goal that Jack Grealish scored started from him as he coming up the center, and then laid the ball off, and then continued to move towards goal and got himself into a position that when the ball was played in, it was just a nice tap-in for him. Wearing the captain armband, that's what they need. And then Matty Target, formerly of Southampton, just absolutely decked it home in stoppage time to get the come from behind win opposed to the draw, and a much needed 3 points for the Villa.
Yeah, good match overall.
Yeah, it was a fun match.
Yeah,
I love that we've got my kiddo just outside the door. Yeah. She's like, I want to be on the pod.
Come on in.
Let's see. That moves us over to, sneaky Leicester sitting in third. Can you believe it? But Leicester City over Burnley 2-1. Not a surprise. I think they beat Burnley, but I think the surprise just how Brendan Rodgers got Leicester just quietly, confidently good. And I mean, I know we're 8 games in. I definitely see them in the top 6, if not making sure they fight for a champion. Can you imagine if they pull off a Champions League finish from the Premier League this year? That'd be huge.
Yeah, like you said, they're just quietly staying in place. It's great.
Yeah, they're a club that when they pop up, nobody wants to mess with them. And these are the guys that can be the king breakers,
Yeah, I think that I'm actually really happy that they're doing so well, because it's been a while since we've had anything to really root for Leicester City.
Yeah, they've been fine.
Their past couple of seasons were they were okay, and then the helicopter crash at the stadium, and there hasn't been a whole lot for Leicester City to cheer for. So it's kind of nice to see them sitting in third place after at match week 9.
Well, they actually did a memorial, right, or a celebration, not a celebration, but remembrance at this last game, right? Because we were coming on the anniversary of the helicopter crash, I believe.
Yeah, like a week from this was their last home game before that occurred. Yeah.
But Brendan Rodgers, man, also a guy who was fun to have in the Premier League, doing well. He kicked butt over at the Celtics in Scotland, and it's awesome to see him now. And again, it's just good for the league. I mean, I know we've been cracking some jokes and stuff. Oh man, we're sitting below and we don't have typical team. Tottenham's not doing that great. But to be honest, Liverpool, Man City, we knew they were going to be. But to have a club like Leicester squeak in, and even a Crystal Palace that currently is sitting in 6th place, I mean, that's a good. And I know things will fall out as they fall out, especially as we get past the holiday season. But it just makes for I think a better enjoyment. It's better for the league to have this kind of variety amongst these kinds of teams that are playing with the big boys. We don't want it to be where you've got just Real Madrid and Barcelona over and over kind of a situation. That's not what you want.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the big boys turn toddlers. Tottenham.
Hold on.
Oh, do you have to read your headline? Is that what?
I don't have to, but...
sorry.
Yes.
Ferris's headline for the previous Leicester City Burnley match. Early wood, not enough to keep Burnley ahead as Leicester win again.
You haven't had a good wood headline in a while.
Not had a good
and he
Christmas.
did it on the score sheet for
a good
Burnley.
wood headline.
Amazing. Oh, God.
You can't just gloss over that. Come on
it's
now.
true. It's true.
Sorry.
And you can't gloss over what Ron just said. What did you say? Running like toddlers?
Yep.
Yeah, Tottenham against Watford. And let's be honest, until the 86th minute of that match, it looked like Tottenham was going to lose to the last place team in the Premier League.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was a VAR goal at best.
Yeah.
This game was just it was if somebody wants to sing the headline, it was all the VAR things.
Wait, what's the joke? I don't. What's the song? You got to sing it.
All the small things, right?
All
the small things.
VAR things. Spurs care. Goal brings. I'll take one.
Oh my God! I can't wait.
How did I end up singing?
I don't know. I can't wait to get to our Christmas episode again.
Yeah, right. But no, this was absolutely all the VAR things. They had there was one called off earlier in the year that Watford or earlier in the game that Watford scored.
It could have been 2-0,
right?
Yes.
And then this one was VAR'd after Dele Alli netted it home, but looked like he played the ball with his arm, and it was called a goal on the field. Went to VAR. They didn't overturn it. But then there was a little bit of a weird. The image in the stadium said no goal after the head ref pointed towards the center spot for a goal. So there was a little bit of confusion after that, which was odd, but nonetheless, it was still a goal. But I don't think it should have been, though. I looked like
no.
He played the ball with his arm.
The game we're going to come to, Manchester and Liverpool, then Liverpool should have scored. That ball that dropped down and they ruled it, but since his arm, it kind of controlled it into his legs. When Liverpool went for that, what would have been a winning goal? Well, and VAR called that goal back.
Right. I think it's opposite. Tottenham shouldn't have scored, because if you're going to the game earlier in the year with Tottenham against Laporte, they got another very fortunate call there, not against Man City when they scored a goal there at the death and was called off because it hit Laporte's arm to lead up to the goal. This is another fortunate call for Tottenham, because there was a clear intent to. I don't think Ali meant to play it with his arm or his hand. I think it's just where the ball fell, but he moved that part of his body towards the ball.
But that's what happened,
and like pushed it down to the ground so he can score.
But that's what happened to Liverpool. The ball hit the Liverpool player in the arm, and it pulled it down to his foot.
But that was correctly called off. This one should have been called off, and it wasn't.
So I don't understand. I mean, VAR. I mean, there have been some good VAR calls. I feel like this one was not a great one. But I will say this, regardless of VAR calls, 6 minutes in, Watford scores, it's 1-0. Now, this is Tottenham, so you would think, if this is Watford versus Man U, Watford versus Chelsea, Watford, I'm not even going to say Liverpool and Man City, right? We're like Watford versus Leicester. You're going, oh, good showing from Watford. I'm going to assume they still lose 2-1. Watford scores that goal in the first 6 minutes, and it looked like it was over for Tottenham for most of the match.
Yeah.
Just done.
Watford had the better first half by far, and the better game.
They got robbed of 2 extra points.
I think so.
I'd agree.
So let me ask you. A point's better than nothing. But I swear this scrape back to have to draw against Watford somehow feels worse. Like, because is this going to stretch the situation in Tottenham on?
So does Pochettino make it till Christmas?
Right. Like, because that's that's awful. I really thought we were looking at Pochettino getting fired as this match was going on.
If they lost this, it would have been a very interesting week until their next game. I don't know. I don't know if Poch makes it until the end of the year. If this continues, they have a Champions League game coming up.
And their next match is Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have Liverpool, then Everton, then they're in Champions League.
Yeah, they have a Champions League thrown in there somewhere.
Yeah. Then that's on 11-7 to Cervania. Sorry, I can't pronounce the other one. Zvezda? Maybe that's it. Then on 11-9, they play Sheffield and Billy Sharp.
Yeah.
And then they go to West Ham. Then they have another Champions League. Bournemouth. Then Man United.
That's not an easy run.
No. Nope. They finish up in December with Burnley, Bayern Munich, the Wolves, Chelsea, Brighton, Norwich.
Oof. Up until the Brighton and Norwich matches, and even those aren't automatic 3 points. That is they
don't have an easy road.
So a lot of landmines there.
Yeah, it's possible that we see
there's a real
somebody playing taps for Poch.
Yeah, they could conceivably easily lose and draw most of these games. Everything obviously depends on who shows up. I think that's their easier match. I think no one's scared of Tottenham. West Ham, look out for them, man. They're gonna go hard. And even Bournemouth, that seems like an easy one for Tottenham to draw against.
I think they'll probably take the 3 points from Man United though.
Well, it all depends.
Maybe.
Who's their coach at that point. We don't know.
Maybe.
We're not sure. Guys, Jose Mourinho's already talking to Real Madrid. He could be back at Man United. Who knows? He comes, he goes.
Wouldn't that be hysterical?
No, what would be hysterical is when Louis van Gaal comes in to save the season.
For Tottenham or for
Man United? They bring him back.
He can't. I think he's officially retired now.
That's the perfect
have come out of retirement though,
to bring him back for the rest of the season until they find someone new. Yep.
So the real question is, does Sir Alex just say, "Oh, it," and come back?
No, not happening. Not happening. And the club needs to let him enjoy retirement and watch the games from the stands. We need to figure it out and just move on.
Now, if they want to bring him out of retirement for a day to go, who would you hire as a coach? Sure, do that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's.
But the Spurs are. Well, here's the thing: Pochettino's not getting that Man United job. I don't think. I think the fans would revolt. Like if tomorrow they want to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and add in Poch, you're going in current form. What's the difference right now? So I
yeah, but it's not current form. It's what he's done over the course and how he's built a Tottenham team that was.
So what's happened? Why did he lose it? He didn't collapse like a Jose Mourinho.
Don't know. And I don't know if we'll ever know. But remember, this team just got to the Champions League final less than 5-6 months back.
Yeah, and
now Trippier leaves. Okay, why would you leave from a side that just got the Champions League final and placed third in the league?
Because you keep not winning anything.
Danny Rose wants to leave, and Eriksson wants to leave. So,
and we all said this was the year they're okay, they got to go for it.
Okay, but how? But they put themselves in position last year to win stuff. Now they didn't in the Premier League, but they sifted through what was a very difficult Champions League, and they put themselves there. It's why did what's his name? Why did not Dembele, Sissoko put his arm in the air to give up an early pen? Poch can't do anything about that. So the players look at themselves there, and I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know where all of a sudden now it's starting to go sideways because they still got talent, but it doesn't look like anybody really wants to be there anymore. So I don't think anybody really knows.
It sucks if you're a Tottenham fan because the danger here is slipping back to where Tottenham used to be, which was kind of what Everton is now. This mid-table
through 10th team.
Yes.
Just kind of,
yeah. And that's the dangers. You've pushed to be one of the big teams. And right now with a lot of the same players and coaches in place that made it a big team, it's starting to crumble. If you lose that manager, I'm sure there's a fear of back to those dark days. Meanwhile, in Northern London, everybody wearing red is salivating at that idea.
Yeah, of course. But it's tough times ahead for Tottenham.
Yeah. If you are the owner group, like making decisions, this is tough because you don't want to slip back.
Well, it's also partially your problem, right? Look how much money they didn't want to spend, right?
Right. So last year
we said so many times over transfer windows, you guys got to start spending some money. You have to start spending.
And last year,
but they have this year.
Well, but the previous year they didn't. But then they made it
in many.
Yeah, but they made it to the Champions League final. Well, they did that without hiring people. But you're right, Ron. But they didn't bring anybody in this year, so you got no one to. You know how it is. Like, I heard the two Robbies talk about this on their show. Robbie Musto, Robbie Earl, about how whenever a new player comes in, especially one that plays or can play part of your position, there's like a desire, a push forward to make sure you still are maintaining your value on the team. You got all these people that are great. You never bring anybody in. You know what I'm saying? I think you're starting to see those chinks in the armor appear from that lack of pushing those guys. Now those guys are like, well, we're not going to win here, so screw it. I see no way I get a trophy at Tottenham. Please let me go play somewhere else. And then they're going to go to Real Madrid. Harry Kane's going to Real Madrid, and then Jose Mourinho is going to bench him, and he's going to hate life.
Who else will want these players if they're playing so bad?
I don't. That's a tough. I mean, you mean what top flight teams? Because
anybody look at United's team besides Pogba. Who would want anybody else on our team? Same for Tottenham.
I think at his age and where he's going, I think their teams will go out and take Rashford.
Well, teams would take Kane, but he doesn't want to leave Tottenham. Who's taking Eriksen now? Madrid? Maybe United? Who's taking Alderweireld? Everybody had a chance to go in and get him with a very small buyout clause like comparison, and nobody went in for him.
And this goes all the way to Pochettino, where Man United's going to snatch him up. To now, who's going to snatch him up? Because his value definitely dropped like a rock. He should have sold when he was high.
Yes, I think he will land at another club somewhere. I don't know if it's at the
we still need someone in Orlando. Come on, Poch.
Yeah, right. You. But I don't know. This Tottenham team is in a very, very weird spot at the moment because they have a crap ton of talent, but it just doesn't seem like anybody has the desire to play for each other or the club and get wins.
Yeah, morale is definitely in the tank.
Yeah. Speaking of things being wild, though, this next match, Crystal Palace at home against Man City. The scoreline's not wild. Man City won 2-0. What's wild are the moments leading up to this match where a Crystal Palace team has been playing so well at home. People are like, hey, can they take on Man City? Which I know they didn't. But the testament to where Crystal Palace has been since the start of the Premier League is that people were looking forward to this being a good game. Crystal Palace has done quite a lot for themselves.
It's very interesting that Manchester City, sitting in second, has the slight reputation of, I think I could take him.
Well, especially Crystal Palace, right? They're the club last year that drew them out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
So, but Crystal Palace has been kind of got nothing to lose. No one's betting on us and has been playing, punching way above the weight. But you're right, Ron. Man City has been the loss to the Wolves. They are not the team. They are not the, unbeatable team they were last year.
That's going to benefit City throughout the year, though, I think. Because
I agree with you.
They are scary good with some scary good players. And if teams are thinking that, they are going to get overrun. And this weekend, they won, right? They did their job.
Absolutely.
Liverpool dropped points. They just gained from 8 points out to 6 points out. There are still 2 games that need to be played with those 2 teams.
Yeah, and with the holidays coming,
right? So there is still a crap ton of games, and City is still a very, very strong team. And they went in there and did a professional job. They got the win. Although De Bruyne did not get on the score sheet in terms of a goal or an assist, he orchestrated a lot of what this team did in this game. A Gabriel Jesus goal in the 39th and a David De Silva lovely little pass over the top to him. And that ended the first half. And from there, you really didn't see that Palace was going to get back into it. Zaha should have conceded a penalty there. I don't know why that call didn't happen. It was VAR'd again, and they didn't think it was a penalty, but it was a clear shove. And City get out of there with a win and are going back to Manchester on Saturday, hoping that their across-town rivals can help them out a bit, and they did. So they did their job, and now they're only 6 points out, despite having dropped 2 games now.
Jesus looks so good.
What do we see going forward for Crystal Palace, considering their next 4 games?
Oh, Ron, I was just about to say that. I'm looking at the schedule like, ouch.
Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's their next 4.
That is going to be a desperate fight to stay in the top 10 if they can.
I think they win 2 out of those 4 games. I can't tell you which games. They nick a 1-0 somewhere or a 2-1. They get something more than what people probably think out of those 2 games, because Roy Hodgson will set them up knowing that that's the next run. He'll set them up going into each game to get something from the game, whether that's a draw or a win. But I think you could see them nick a few points off of what is a seemingly very tough run.
I think they can only afford to lose one of those games, and they have to win at least 2, and they can draw 1.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to tumble.
I just don't think that there are teams like currently they're up in 6. There are a lot of other teams below them that are in worse shape. They're not Watford, Norwich, Newcastle, Southampton. I mean, Manchester.
Yeah, but they're only 2 points ahead of 3 teams. So they drop. Bournemouth win and Burnley win a few. Tottenham, they're the wild card. They could go either direction, but they can find themselves 3 or 4 places lower by the end of this run easily.
Right, 3 or 4 and like puts them now in 10th or somewhere in that range. That's fine for them. Their goal is going to be in that range and to end somewhere there. I'd be highly surprised if their goal coming into the start of the year was to get in those top 5 Europe spots.
Yeah, that's probably true, but finding yourself on the cusp really makes you start thinking and desiring more than what you might be able to achieve.
Which would be amazing.
We see it all the time with these kinds of teams.
But that's a rough road ahead. But it's just nice. Again, it's just nice to see a different club, even though it's early on, up in that area, fighting for it. It's wondering, again, going into a Man City match with people wondering, oh, will this be a good game? That in itself is a huge victory, perception-wise, for Crystal Palace. Especially when a club like Watford should be doing a whole hell of a lot better.
That they should.
Yeah.
Speaking of doing a whole hell of a lot better, Manchester United versus Liverpool.
The luckiest team in all Christendom.
Yeah, snapping the Liverpool win streak. 1-1 draw. Man United versus Liverpool. I really thought Liverpool was going to do that BS thing where they score a goal in the extra time and walk away with 3 points. They shouldn't have, though. Just because that has been their... Yeah. When they have not played well, they still managed to get... And it could be argued. They did not play well, but they still managed to get a point out of this game. That is kind of the thing that is separating them and Man City at this point. Yeah. When Man City does not play well, they lose.
I think United had the better and played the better game for 80-ish minutes.
That run into
they turned off
the Rashford goal,
and they turned off once, and Lana got in there, back post, ball got all the way through, and 1-1. I mean, it's nice to take a point from that game, and one that I did not think was going to occur, especially going on current form that was coming into this. But a couple of surprise inclusions in the team, and United set themselves up very, very well and played more of a sit back and counter, and they almost pulled out a win in this.
Kind of wish Man United had pressed it a little harder after that opening goal, because Liverpool was definitely having an off day. No Mohamed Salah. I do think Man United could have pressed a bit, maybe pressed a bit more. I know that's hard to say when you play against a club like Liverpool that's so quick to score. So what do you think, Ron? Does this like extend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's run? Is this like the Pochettino thing, where does it limp it forward longer?
I think it just limps it forward longer. I mean, I won't say they have an easy run coming up, but they have a pretty doable schedule. They're in the Europa League on the 25th. If they can beat or draw Partizan, I think the morale will be high coming into Norwich on the 28th, and then Chelsea on the 31st. The next game after that is Bournemouth, and I think Manchester United's going to come out of the next two with wins, and then the next two are iffy. So I think if they can come out with wins against Partizan and Norwich, they're on the upswing. If they can't, well, that's going to be totally different.
Solskjaer is going to be, unless things go, we lose all those games in a very poor fashion, it is not going to be, I don't think Solskjaer sees himself in a job come the start of the new year. But United this week came out and said that they back him, and not necessarily that they back him, but they back what the plan that is seemingly in place, which to give it time and bring in young talent and kind of cultivate something, some formulation of a plan. We honestly don't know kind of what that plan is right now, but if that's the case, then hopefully we do stick with him and we don't become that, bring in a Watford who every year is going through a new manager. And he finally got to dab into the transfer market a little bit this year. And all of the signings that he brought in are seemingly very, very good signings. Maguire, Wan-Bissaka, and James are probably the best three that have played for us so far this year. And I don't know if we have the old Arsenal physio because everybody's hurt and nobody... nobody can get fit, but
Jack Wilshere's physio,
right? We haven't had that team that went up against Chelsea pretty much all year. Martial came in off the bench for a glimpse, and we really didn't do a whole lot. Thankfully, we had De Gea and we had Azacca back, but no Pogba still. Greenwood's been a little bit iffy. And then a whole other host of, Phil Jones and Tuanzebe actually went out pre-match due to a hip flexor or something. So Marcus Rojo had to come in. So the injury bug is just all over right now. So if he has a full squad and a January transfer and a summer, and we primarily stay up, but if we're at least showing the effort that we did yesterday, I think time will be given to him. If we got walloped 4-0 coming off of the back of a Newcastle loss after a break, I think that would have really been bad news. These next run of games is really going to tell. Again, if we come out and we get wins from all these, time will be given there. If not, and we drop points in a very poor fashion.
You have
it's
a
always
fan.
Also,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's also always really tricky when the management comes out and says we back the coach. Right?
Oh yeah,
because that's the move right before you can him too. Right. So it's really hard to, as a fan, want to believe that the management is actually going to keep him, because as we know in this I'll say new-ish climate of the Premier League, you're only as good as the results you're making.
That's not the Premier League. That's sports, just in general now.
Yeah. So when they came out, I wasn't surprised that they came out and said we back him and we back the plan, but it was also like, so does that mean if he loses another 2, he's history? Like, that means nothing anymore.
Well, I don't think it was the dreaded vote of confidence. It didn't quite have that feel from the what United came out and said. I didn't get that feel from it. It's definitely a possibility, but
here's to me why
I hope they are looking long term opposed to just now.
Where it's a Christmas decision for me is this next run of play. To Norwich, to Bournemouth, to Brighton Hove Albion, to Sheffield United, and then Aston Villa. If Man United cannot score positives out of that run, that is where you'll be done before Christmas.
Agreed.
Because those are all clubs that Man United should totally beat. But I mean, I think that's why I think it's the Liverpool. You draw or lose against Liverpool. I actually don't think, as long as you don't get destroyed, it hurts your manager. Because it's Liverpool. They're great right now, right? I think it's this run that you're about to hit.
Right. With these. And did you guys see, I think I tagged you on this, but the first run of games that somebody had posted in the stats they were using, the first, I don't remember all of the exact numbers, but the first few games for Solskjaer are very similar to what Klopp had when he arrived at Liverpool. So I think Liverpool was in a bit of a better state than United is, because they hadn't gone manager to manager they kind of did, but it was definitely an interesting stats to look at that kind of gave it perspective, and perspective that a lot of you United fans don't want to hear right now, but we do have to just take a breath, not think so reactionary, and trust that, and that's a very tough word with the current state, but trust that there is some sort of plan and there is something in place at this point that will see us come good. Maybe not this year, but in years to come.
All I'm hearing is that you guys are the Cylons because you have a plan. That is my Battlestar Galactica reference.
I don't know what that means. Because it does. Nerd alert. And I will say, since it's kind of we have not talked about it yet, but the first goal from United in the VAR foul there. Okay, first off, I think he went down easy. My point to why this it would have been harsh to overturn this call was exactly what Liverpool went through with the Leicester game before the break. On the field, the call was made that there was a foul on Mane. Everybody thought he went down easy. Was it a dive? So on. On the field, that was the call made, right? VAR went in and did not have the indisputable evidence or whatever the terminology they are using is to overturn it. I think the same thing applies here. On the field, it was not called a foul. So what is that indisputable evidence that overturns it? And
actually
that brings to
it's the clear and obvious error.
That's correct. And that brings it to a different argument, I think, right? It's not like VAR
NFL where you are looking for the infraction. It's the wording for VAR in the Premier League. It is looking for a clear mistake made by the referee. You called the wrong number. Whatever. Like, right. Oh, those studs
a clear error.
Right. It hit the ball first before hitting guy. And this was a in run of play. And I actually, before we started the pod, was watching a Premier League review of the weekend on Sky Sports. And they were talking about this, and a former ref was like, yes, in slow-mo, that is a foul. But in run of play and for VAR, this should not have been called, which starts to sound a little MLS-like. But he's like, but in run of play, there's no clear and obvious error to call back here.
So I think that brings the other argument, or not argument, but debate is VAR, are they making the calls correct, or are they almost backing the ref's decision on the field?
Well,
that doesn't necessarily mean that the call is going to be correct.
I think
it's both.
I think Ron is right. I think it's what we are also experiencing is the argument of people who fought against the idea of VAR. Because you can't make everybody happy, and it's never going to be perfect.
No, but if you're going to implement it, the goal is to ultimately get the call correct, not back the ref with this clear and obvious error. Because there are so many subjective calls in this game, whether it's offsides, whether it's fouls like this, whether it's goals, PKs, the ball glimpses off the left shirt sleeve, which your left shirt sleeve is attached to your arm, so then it goes off your arm, so it's not a goal. Like there's all these subjective things to it that if the goal is to get the call right, then who cares about telling the ref that he's wrong? Or is it to back it and go, okay, well, there's not a clear and obvious error, so I can see where the ref may have gotten this right, so we don't have enough to overturn it, so the call stands. Or the lack of not calling it stands. Right?
Yeah, I think it's both of those things. It's so hard to... they're all so situationally based that it's easy to paint with a broad stroke. That's why I think they say it's a clear and obvious error, right? Because that is subjective enough to do either side of the coin. Back the ref because the call in, what does the NFL call it? Bang, bang play, right? The call doesn't happen because the play happens too fast. So therefore it's not a clear and obvious error. So VAR backs the ref in that case. Whereas
it would have happened in this game, right? Well, it was such a bang bang play that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think Ron actually just made the distinction, and I think it's where it's harder for us who are American in the NFL, because that's the league that we have been the most used to. It is not called video assistant refereeing. It is instant replay. It is hey ref, here's a chance for you to look at it from a million different angles in slow-mo to make a right call. Video, even in the term VAR, it's an assistant to the ref on the pitch. It is not a separate sort of entity overturning. Does that make sense? You know?
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it's just where, hey, look, in 5 years, we'll have less of these, and it'll be much clearer. It's still new, you know.
I don't know. I still think you're gonna have them.
Oh, sure, but I just mean in terms of us, I think understanding when and how it's used should get a little clearer. Not that there won't be calls that are still weird, but speaking of weird calls, we can go to our MLS playoff brackets because we've kicked off the MLS playoffs, y'all. It's playoff time.
Ooh-wee. And they've been weird.
And it's a normal playoff package in the sense that this year it follows brackets that make sense.
Seemingly normal, yeah.
But as Ron said, what a weird, fun opening. I mean, that Seattle game. Jeez, I mean, what a playoff.
Playoff.
Seattle got so lucky. Ugh.
It helped that they were playing at home, and also helped that they had Jordan Morris on their team.
Oh, who, just happened to get a hat trick.
Right. His first ever, too, or whatever it was. First ever in the playoffs. I don't know. Playoffs. So looking at our brackets, my Western side, I did much better choosing. No, I messed these up royally. I was having issues last night. You did not get Minnesota United correct. That one was incorrect. The others you did. You did get Real Salt Lake.
Oh yeah, because LA Galaxy won their. Won that game. Yes. But yeah, my West looks much better than my East.
Yeah, your East looks worse for wear for sure.
I guess get it out of the way. The oddest game was DC United and Toronto going to extra time and then losing 5-1.
Yeah.
4 goals
Crazy.
scored in extra time.
Going to extra time means it's tied at some point, and if it's 5-1, that means it was tied 1-1. And it ends 5-1. You're like, what in the...
Kind of embarrassing.
4 goals.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And that was at Toronto, correct? Or in Toronto, I should say.
Yes.
Right? So, like, that helps, but 5, like... The DC United was like, okay, job's done. Like, okay, it's the normal season. We can get on with the draw. And then, oh, no, we got to play extra time. Oh, wow. Oh, hey, there's 1 goal. There's 2 goals. Oh, no. There's 3 goals. And then wait a second. There's the 4th goal.
Yeah, there it is.
Jeez. That was so crazy. 93rd, 95th, 103rd, 105th, +1.
Just bananas. This DC just collapsed. So... That means it's on to Derby County for Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney to go be a player coach where Frank Lampard was last day coach at.
Correct.
Before going into the Premier League.
Correct.
So there you go. Philadelphia Union.
And Ashley Cole went there last year as a player coach too, didn't he?
Oh, I believe so. Yes.
Thought he was brought in similarly.
But Philadelphia Union with the big upset.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a big upset.
Come from behind win.
Yeah, a cover behind win. I mean, Philadelphia Union were top of the East for a majority of the year, and they had a little bit of a bad run there, at the end of the year. But the Union are a good team. They are a real good team, and we may see them go a little bit further than expected.
Atlanta United, they take on New England. This kind of messed up your predictions there, I believe, Ferris, pretty harshly. As Atlanta definitely beats New England. What was the final score there? Oh, just 1-0 full time.
1-0.
I don't think Atlanta United are going to go that far this year, but I could be wrong.
New England came out firing. In this match, myself included, I really thought New England's going to try and sit back and just absorb, and they did not do that. They came out absolutely firing. Not many teams are equal to Atlanta in shots and shots on target. And in this match, they went toe to toe with Atlanta. And for all intents and purposes, they survived until the 70th minute.
So Philadelphia Union go from Red Bulls to Atlanta. That's a heck of a tall order for those guys.
Yeah, they're going to be in for a bit, but I think the Union, I don't know. I mean, who knows? We could see them going all the way to the
That'd be
finals.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's not impossible for them to take down Atlanta.
Mm-mm.
Now on the other side,
I think they did take Atlanta down both or 2 times. I don't know if it's both. I think they play like 3 times, something like that. But I believe that Philly did take them down a couple of times during the season. So yeah, you're right, Ron. It's not impossible.
Now on the other side, Minnesota United, their first appearance in the playoffs, they do lose 2-1 to the LA Galaxy, but I don't think that's a good for them for getting into the playoffs in the first place, and actually throwing some competition against the LA Galaxy. Not a team that anybody wants to go play.
It sets up for, I think, a Thursday. Is it El Tráfico derby?
Yeah,
between LAFC and Galaxy. So that should be a fun match. It's either Wednesday or Thursday. All of these games will have the next games will be midweek this week. Remember, this is a very condensed. Let's get this playoffs done this year.
Yeah, because
the schedule is ending by like November 2nd. So like it's
2 months to get through the playoffs last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll be happy to know that all the goals count all the time.
Yes, the goals count equally correctly.
But unless they have TAM money involved with it, then they count double for the last goal that was scored on the 3rd day of the month.
If there's any allocation money or discovery rights on certain goals, it changes the situation.
Correct.
I have discovered Wayne Rooney.
He's discovered the goal. It means more.
Yeah, I was. We discovered Kaká. Yeah, that happened. Yeah,
no one knew about
the Ballon d'Or winner, but we discovered him. Yeah,
good Lord.
Well, Chicago discovered Schweinsteiger.
Yep, there you go.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh, Schweini with his retirement.
But yeah, right.
Now the one I think I got right, but no. Did Ron call for Real Salt Lake as well?
No, he did not. Yeah, Ron had the best bracket out of all of us because I believe he only had the Real Salt Lake and Seattle games incorrect. Everything else he had correct on the East.
Well, so Real Salt Lake upsets Portland because Portland's always been good in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that really screwed me because I had them going all the way to the semis, and I thought Portland was going to come out and do it, and they did not.
So Real Salt Lake takes that 2-1 over Portland. That's a huge win for Real Salt Lake. Huge win.
And if I'm looking at the brackets now, Ron is definitely doing the best. Blake coming in second, and I am dead last.
I think one place. Well, I know you and I picked Ferris. We said the Seattle Sounders over FC Dallas. What a game! Yeah. What a game! 4-3. A hat trick by Jordan Morris,
and kind of a weird
to get Seattle to win.
Right, a kind of a weird fourth goal from Seattle. That was.
Yeah. Just the ball pinging around in the box.
Yeah.
It lands.
It was like that moment in FIFA when you're just like freaking out and you keep hitting X over and over trying to, and then like get it to someone and get in the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, Seattle didn't have the best last half in that match. They got very lucky. Dallas came out in the second half and had the better chances, the better run of play. They were just dominating Seattle. And then just goes to show you one lucky goal and you're moving on.
That's the breaks.
Yeah. So the next round of matches taking place on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, you will have LAFC against the Galaxy. You will have Real Salt Lake against Seattle. Over to the East, you will have NYCFC against Toronto FC. That should be a hell of a game. And then the Philadelphia Union and Atlanta United. Again,
excited.
A very good game. Yeah.
Excited for that one.
So all those are played Wednesdays and Thursdays, and I don't remember who's. I think the highest seed gets the home game, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I can't remember the seeds offhand. So, but yeah, just keep an eye out for those matches.
So who do we think wins which games?
Okay, if I'm going with my I think the Galaxy will kind of take this, and LAFC will pull a Tampa Bay Lightning for last year and have the best regular season known to man, but the bed in the first round.
I'm gonna go LA. I think LAFC is gonna take this all.
Right, yeah, and Blake, you had them going all the way, but losing to DC United in the final. Ron had them. I think you had them going the entire way.
All the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Real Salt Lake and Seattle. Seattle's been there. They've done it. They got Jordan Morris, so I think Seattle will take that. And then the Union over Atlanta. I had that in my bracket, and then I like the way Toronto's going right now. They have kind of rekindled a little bit of the Giovinco years, and they ended the season well. They scored 4 goals in extra time, in overtime, or I don't know. I think they could nick one from NYCFC, and yeah. How about you, gents?
I think LAFC's. Well, not quite. I think LAFC is going to go all the way with this one. I think that El Tráfico will be fun, but I think they're going to take it all the way through. I think Toronto takes on NYCFC and beats them. I think Atlanta is going to squeak by Philadelphia Union, but lose to Toronto FC. That's mine.
I think LAFC is going all the way. I'm sticking with that.
Yeah.
Toronto gets past New York. I think Real Salt Lake takes out the Sounders and Philly takes out Atlanta.
It would be cool to see Real Salt Lake make it that far.
Yeah, they haven't made it in a bit.
No, and they have they still have goaltender Nick Raimondo. This is his last season. Already announced his retirement, so it'd be nice to see him go quite a ways in the playoffs. Still playing.
Now we still have more playoffs. To quickly talk about. We've got the NWSL playoffs. North Carolina Courage playing the Reign, and the Courage does what they do best, and they win 4-1.
Yeah,
they are good.
They just know how to grind a team down.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
And on the other side of it, you got the Chicago Red Stars. They beat the Portland Thorns 1-0. So I think that's Ron and mine's bracket.
Yeah, you guys are perfect.
Yep.
I went for like the Portland hasn't played all that well, and I went for the Pipe Dream, and I'm a big fan of Haran. I thought they would get through, and that was wrong.
And the important thing here for Courage is this means they play the final and in their home.
Yep. Correct. And I think that's what hurt Portland here is that this game was played in Chicago, not Portland. This game's played in Portland. The result should have been different, but Portland didn't earn that spot during the
final
regular season.
October 27th, 3:30 p.m. on ESPN2, correct?
Sounds about right. Yeah. Yep. Gentlemen, who was the only person out of our predictions at the beginning of the year to get all four of the playoff teams correct?
Oh, someone did?
One of us did.
I vote Ferris.
Oh, I was the worst.
I think I might have because the Chicago Red Stars.
Yes, Blake, you did.
Yeah.
You went all four teams. Absolutely correct. Ron, I think you had maybe one that wasn't in there. I had two. I said the Spirit and Utah would get in. So I think
that's the Red Star. That's right. Because I remember you looking at me weird.
Do you know what's weird? And we'll share this at the end of the year. But I looked at our golden boot as well. We're all morons. Not one of us picked Sam Kerr, who's like the most prolific goal scorer in the game right now.
I wonder if none of us picked it because we thought someone else would.
Well, clearly yes. Thank you, Jim Madden. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, no one picked it because we thought the other person would.
Yeah, exactly.
You know who's going to win the golden boot? The person who scores the most.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus, Blake. It is 10:10 in the morning here on the East Coast.
I've only had one cup of coffee and a pint of beer. So.
But I don't know. Like maybe we all thought that the World Cup but she still bagged well more than anybody else on there. But anyways, we'll go over all of that.
And I'm picking the Courage to win it all. But Sam Kerr, she is the X factor for the Red Stars for how this game's going to go.
Right. Yeah.
I think it'll be a good match.
I would like to see the Red Stars get in there. Just somebody else besides the Courage. Courage are a fantastic team, but I'd like to see some different and kind of shake it up a bit. I
gotta be at work that day.
Red Stars.
I'm scared I have to be. I have a 3:00 meeting. I could probably watch most of the game.
For me, it's a Monday morning at 3:30 in the morning.
That a boy.
I might be getting lucky. I don't know. I'm trying to take some. I think I'm okay because I'm taking Sunday off because I worked that following Monday for a change. I've been working through the weekend for the last 2 months, but I think I got that one free, so I can actually watch that game. Oh, that Sunday became so much better. Nice. Yeah.
I think you have to qualify the statement of I think I could get lucky.
Yeah. I think I could get lucky and watch this game. Okay, I see what you did there. You know what I'm gonna do though? I've got my North Carolina Courage shirt that was brought to me from who was it? Were you there, Ron? Someone brought me a Courage shirt. Maybe it was Caitlin. But
yeah, maybe.
But I've got that. I think I'll cook some Carolina style barbecue and slaw that day. I will pull for the Courage on that one.
Real nice, Clark.
Get some sweet tea. Not gonna. The homebrew is going to be sweet tea if we're going to do it correctly that day.
Get you a pot of neck throat.
There's no Bojangles.
Not a pot of neck throat.
What is it?
It's on like Donkey Kong and a pot of neck bone.
There it is.
Pot of neck bone.
Gross.
Oh man, should we do the quick European roundup?
The La Liga's roundup.
Yes.
All right. Borussia Dortmund move up to 4th in the Bundesliga table as captain Marco Reus scores the only goal of the game to beat leaders Borussia Mönchengladbach.
We had a good friend at the Willow Tree Hollerback Oktoberfest in Sanford, Florida, which is an awesome German restaurant.
Yeah.
Great beers, hanging out in the Dortmund section, watching this match.
Well, and I just had, a friend of mine was there yesterday, I think, for some of their Oktoberfest stuff. And I said, I sent her something and she said, that place is awesome and it's fantastic. I want to get out there for a Dortmund Munich match. I think that would be a lot of fun. And then speaking of Bayern, SC Augsburg snatch a late point at home from powerhouse Bayern Munich is a little bit of a shock. And the Bundesliga table is absolutely crazy tight with 1st through 9th only separated by 2 points after match week 8.
That's awesome.
That is great.
It is tight. Fun in the Bundesliga. And I don't know if we shared this either, but it will be on Fox, which it has been. I thought they've done a very good job with this, and I enjoy going over to Fox and seeing a lot of the games.
Bundesliga is fun, man.
Yes, it is. However, I believe starting in 2020, that then moves to ESPN Plus.
Oh, really?
Or to ESPN.
Something else Disney's bought.
Right.
Damn Star Wars.
I like that
Bundesliga.
I like that Fox had that because you could go to Fox, and I thought their coverage of it was good. Their in studio stuff was okay, and you could watch 75% of the games.
So they threw down a bunch of money to get the streaming rights. It's going to be on Disney Plus.
I don't know if it's Disney Plus, but yeah, ESPN
or ESPN Plus.
Right. So they'll have Serie A, they'll have Bundesliga, they'll have the Chupacabra Cup, I think.
Oh yeah, they're going to have the Carabao,
or is it the FA Cup they have?
Caribou Cup. No, they do have the FA Cup, I believe. Yes.
So then who has the Chupacabra Cup?
Is
that Fox?
I don't know.
Anyways, I don't know. We need World Soccer Talk back on here to tell us.
Yeah, we do.
That
guys, just go to worldsoccertalk.com for that stuff. The dude's got a crazy map.
They will lay it all out for you.
And his job just got harder because of what we're talking about right now. It's getting crazier.
All right, over to La Liga. For the first time this season, the front three of Messi, Suarez, and Griezmann all get on the score sheet as Barcelona ease past Eibar to go top of the table in La Liga. However, this win comes off the back of news this week that the first El Clasico match of the season to be played on 10/26, so next this coming Saturday, has been officially postponed due to the Catalan protest currently taking place in the area.
Yeah,
I guess they had more than a handful of senior leaders for the Catalanian government all got booked on charges of something rather, and there's protests, and it's kind of a wild time there. We don't have obviously all the info, but go online and start to read. So they're trying to figure out if they can play the match in December, and they're when and where they do it. They were first thought that they could just switch and play at Real Madrid this match, and then the one in the second half of the year we played at Barca, but that obviously didn't happen. Teams didn't agree to do that, so that's why it's been officially postponed, and now they're trying to figure out a date sometime in December, which usually they go on break, but they may be able to get one in there before break. And then there was thoughts that they could play a match over here because, was it last year, the La Liga came out and said they will start to play regular season La Liga games here in the States.
Hey, it works for the NFL.
Yeah. But I don't know if you want to make this game the first of that. Like that, I don't know if that
was the first of it, I really want to go.
Oh, I would really want to go too, but I really want to go to one of these games.
Taking it away from your fans.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
I want to go there and
exactly. Yes. Yeah. So moving on from them, elsewhere in the league, Real Madrid suffer a shock loss to Mallorca, 1-0, and they're still in second, but not a good loss, not a good game there, which resulted in a loss. And then Atleti draw against Valencia, and Granada remain third after a 1-0 win over Osasuna.
Who's the coach for Atletico?
Diego Simeone.
Right.
Yeah. So and then they look good. They have a lot of talent. They just haven't gotten. Like this should have been a win for them, and they didn't quite get there.
They're just not gelling as much as you think they should.
No, and they were a lot of fun to see when they were here back in July for the MLS All-Star break, or the MLS All-Star game, which is during their kind of break. But seeing them in the skills challenge and during the game, they have a lot of skill and a lot. You just forget the stars that they have, and just hasn't quite clicked for them yet. Moving over to France, Angel Di Maria and PSG wiped the floor with Nice on Friday to remain top in La Liga. As second place, Nantes. Second place, Nantes dropped points in an away loss to FC Mainz, and big boys Olympic Lyon. Miserable start to the season continues as they play out a 0-0 draw to Dijon behind superb play of goalkeeper Alfred Gomez. So it is all PSG currently over in France. Marseille and Bordeaux and Olympic Lyon, they're just they're there, but it is all PSG right now. And then finally over to Serie A as Lazio and Atalanta played to a thrilling 3-3 draw, courtesy of a late penalty converted by frontman Ciro Immobile. He converted 2 penalties in this, and this was a hell of a game, and just a lot of fun to watch. And then Juventus, Inter, and Napoli all win yet again. Toss Atalanta in there between Inter and Napoli, and that rounds out the top 4 in the top flight of Italian football.
Atalanta is always so hard for me to say when I read it, because
right.
you just want to say Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the Inter game, which was played yesterday morning our time, was interesting. I turned it on when it was 3-1. Inter then got a penalty to make it 4-1. And then, oh God, who were they playing? Sassuolo, I think. They then scored 2 goals to make it 4-3, and it was a nervy last 10 for Inter. They were more just like hanging on to get the win. But it was a very interesting week in Serie A. And that rounds out your La Liga's roundup.
So we started with some Chinese Super League and then with the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well-rounded pod here on the
Oktoberfest
soccer pod
in Beijing that Ron was at. I mean, how often do you get that coverage?
Yeah. And if you didn't check our social medias, check it out. There's a ton of fun pictures on there from
Instagram
all of
and
those.
Untapped are the best for all the world stuff with Ron going on. Yeah.
Looked great.
So much good. I want to say real quick before we wrap things up, because one of the things you always say is, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spreaker, however you find us. And if you take a screen grab of it, send it to us. Let us know you did. We'll get something to you. And we need to get one to Mr. Anchovy, because last week we had a new pod review drop, and I'm going to read the review because it just makes me happy. I like soccer and football and beer, and listening to podcasts that don't take themselves too seriously. Up until now, I hadn't found that perfect combination, but now I have something to look forward to. Here's to a stellar season for Crystal Palace, and here's to Blake, Ron, and Ferris from Mr. Anchovy. That's a great 5-star review
thank you,
on Apple Podcast. Because of the Crystal Palace drop, I think I potentially may know who this could be, a listener this could be that's interacted with us before. But I'm not sure what the name is.
Did they leave us their info?
Well, no, that was me pulling it off of the actual Apple Podcast website. So, Mr. Anchovy, if you're listening, please drop us a line, a DM, whether through Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or email us at thebrutifulgame@gmail.com, so we can get your contact info and send you some koozies and stuff, man. Because this is a great review, because literally it's what we want to do. Yeah, that sums up exactly how we look at the show. We sure as hell don't take ourselves too seriously. I mean, just listen to how bad we butchered all the pronunciations of every French league.
Yeah, exactly.
And just try to have some fun chatting beer and soccer. So thank you. Drop us a line, man. Let us know who you are so we can get some fun stuff to you. You got anything, Ron, before we wrap this up?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, man. Well, Twitter, Facebook, Untapped, Instagram, follow us, the website, thebrutifulgame.com, that can link you to all of that. And, listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, which obviously, if you're listening to this, why would you say that? Because you already are. But yes, we are on Spotify. Share us with your friends. It helps out a whole lot. And I think that wraps it up, gents. We're good to go?
Almost.
What's the almost?
Oh, you know. Don't try to do some coy setup again. No, I know.
Yeah.
Over there.
Dad joke. The thing is, we've kind of pretty much gone through the book, and like I have looked for stuff, but it's it's
called Google.
I know, but it's hard because you find all these jokes, and you can find a ton of cheesy jokes, but how do you know when one of them is actually like a dad joke?
Right.
And usually it's because what's that, Ron?
So my niece and I have been going back on an app called Marco Polo. We've been going back and forth telling each other really terrible jokes. My niece is 4 years old, and she had 2 really good ones. So I'll tell them.
Oh, I want to hear it.
Okay.
How do you know when... I totally screwed that up. That's funny. Moving on. Why did the Invisible Man not take the job? Because he couldn't see himself doing it.
God almighty.
That's a good one.
From a 4-year-old, that is a pretty good one. That's deep.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the dad joke of the pod.
Wait, what was the first one that you...
I can't remember the setup.
Oh, well, here's the thing, though. See, when you hear the joke that Ron just told, I think that's what helps you figure out if something is a dad joke or not. Like, when you hear it, you'll know if it's a dad joke because it's apparent.
Nah, time to go, folks.
God. Your setups are appalling or apparent. There you go. God almighty.
Well, that's how you know it's a dad joke. See?
Oh, gotta go. Look at the time. I've got homework to do.
I gotta slop the hogs.
Wash the car.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to the Brewtiful Game, whether you wanted to or not.
You worked really hard on that, Grandma. So do washing machines.
Love the beer, cherish the game, the Brewtiful Game.